Now, I would say that real communication is probably the most important aspect of business, because the consequences of miscommunication are just so great. For instance, when there's miscommunication, people just don't connect and build rapport so easily. They don't listen to each other so easily. They don't really get a sense of where they're coming from in a deeper sense. And this is really going to impact the effectiveness of the communication and what happens after. Now, I think it's fair to say that in this day and age, people, generally speaking, are very distracted. Now, I heard a statistic recently that showed that in 1980, the average attention span of a person was 20 minutes. And now in 2018, the average attention span of a person is just 7 seconds. And one of the aspects of this is that people live in feeling states of mild tension, anxiety. They're very busy-minded. They can be feeling overwhelmed, and this is what impacts the quality of the communication. Now, the business world is full up with tools, tips and techniques on how to communicate better, and there's lots of information available on how to build rapport, on active listening, on body language, on personality types. And really, this is just all noise. Because the thing that's really behind highly effective communication is being fully present with people or with the person that you're with. And what being fully present means is that you've dropped your thinking. You're not paying attention to your own thinking. And when you're not paying attention to your own thinking, then you're giving your full attention to whom you're with. See, and when we're giving our full attention to whom we're with, well, a strong sense of connectedness and rapport develops much, much more easily. We listen much more easily, or much better. We understand, we get a real sense, an understanding of where somebody is coming from. And the person on the other end of the communication, when they can feel that someone's really present with them, it really impacts them too, because they might be in a busy mind. And it's really the best way to have somebody else's mind settle is to have your mind settle first. Okay, because it often naturally draws other people into the present too. Now, if that makes sense to you, then the question becomes, okay, well, how? How do I get more present and have my communication become that much more effective? Well, see, you don't do it through techniques, which is why I say all that other stuff is noise, because you can't have a quieter mind by adding more thinking to an already busy mind. See, that just doesn't make sense, does it? Okay. Well, what I've seen over the last few years that I've been working with people in this way or in this area is that it's understanding that does the work for us. Okay, there's a simple and yet profound understanding that people can have that really has them drop thinking very naturally and very easily. See, in our society, we're living in the misunderstanding that circumstances cause feelings. So we're living in this misunderstanding that the circumstances of our lives are the cause of our inner experience. And that's just not true. It never has been true, it's not true now, and it never will be true. The human experience is created by thought in the moment. Okay, so the thoughts that come into our mind is what we feel. So there's a direct connection between what we're thinking and what we're feeling, and no connection between what we feel and our outer circumstances, even though it looks like there is. Now, when people begin to understand this for themselves, they realise it. It's not an intellectual understanding, it's a realisation. When people begin to realise this for themselves, what they notice is their mind starts to get quieter. And as their mind starts to get quieter, then they're just more present, very naturally and easily, without actually doing anything to become more present. Now, what I'd also add is everyone has the experience of coming into the present. Everybody does. And yet, one is that people often don't notice it. And secondly, they don't understand why they come into the present. Very often people associate coming into the present with activities in their lives. And these are the activities that people tend to love to do. And they associate the activity as being the cause, when it isn't. What's happened is that they've just naturally allowed their mind to relax. And as they allow their mind to relax, they've just come into the present, okay? And there's a there's a feeling to being present. And the feeling is one that everybody likes. So it's a feeling of stillness, it's a feeling of peace, it's still being alert, it's a feeling of okayness, of expanded awareness. So that feeling is something that's available to us all of the time. And yet, so often what we're doing is we're over-occupying our minds, which kind of puts a barrier in the way. So in summary, really high quality communication is really about, first and foremost, being fully present with whom we're with. It's where our attention is fully on the other people, so that we can really get a sense of who they are and where they're coming from and what they're trying to communicate. Okay, and rather than using tools, tips, or techniques as a way to accomplish that, it comes about through an understanding of how our mind works. So it's very natural and easy and effortless to drop thinking when we understand the mechanism behind it.